too long ago, I can't remember. Anyway, he was having a kid, and they got Skylanders given to him for free or whatever. Which is great, but not when you're paying how much for the figures, because they're goddamn expensive. You'll be the next ninja.
Right, George. Let's try a moral dilemma. So I'm going to read you a moral dilemma, and you have to tell me what you do in that situation. Are you ready?
Kill everyone. Next.
You know, it's so funny because the person in this moral dilemma is named Mary, which is the same, you know, your sister's name.
Oh no, my sister.
So this could literally be your sister planning something. So just, you know, watch out.
Fair play.
The life insurance policy. Mary is in a hospital lounge waiting to visit a sick friend. A young man sitting next to Mary explains that his father is very ill. The doctors believe that he has a week to live at most. He explains further that his father has a substantial life insurance policy that expires at midnight. If his father dies before midnight, this young man will receive a very large sum of money. He says that the money would mean a great deal to him and his family, and no good will come from his father's living a few more days. After talking with him, Mary can tell this man is in desperate need of the money to feed his family. The man asks Mary to go to his father's room and smother his father with a pillow.
Don't do it.
What do you do if you what do you do if you're married, George?
Don't do it. The money's not going to affect you.
The guy needs the money to feed his family.
He's got to fund his drug fuel
He-
rampages. That's it.
That's not what it said, George.
I'm the druggie.
He's bribed you.
That's what I'm taking from this
He's
situation.
offering you 50 grand, George. One pillow, 50k.
That's not a lot to kill someone. No, that's not enough.
According to this, the guy might only live a couple more days.
I don't know that one.
Oh my god, Alexa's listening. By the way, guys, I wouldn't do it either. Just saying. I'm just trying to make George.
No.
You know, I'm just trying to add fuel to the fire and see what George would actually do. But George is saying no. If someone says, "I'll give you 50 grand, smother this guy with a pillow," it's not even your dad. You just got, you know, George is saying he wouldn't do it.
If it was a criminal, like a war criminal, and you were a bounty hunter, yes. An old man in his bed, no.
Yeah, because it's just, you know, it's sad. Not a nice thing to do, guys. What's the chat saying? That's what the chat's saying about this one.
He can go hunt fish and pigs. There you go, Jake. Man could live off the grid. He doesn't need to buy into capitalism. He could go hunting.
Yeah, you could just go hunting. 2021. I'll get them those fish. They're not going to be infected.
Look at them fish.
Okay, let's try another one. There's a couple more. The thing is, I'm not fully reading these, so these could be terrible. These could be really, really bad, but I'm just reading them out like the first time ever. So, the submarine crew. Mark is a crew person on a marine research submarine traveling underneath a large iceberg. An onboard explosion has damaged the ship, killed and injured several crew members. Additionally, it has collapsed the only access door between the upper and lower parts of the ship. The upper section, where Mark and most of the others are located, does not have enough oxygen remaining for all of them to survive until Mark has reached the surface. Only one remaining crew member is located in the lower section, where there is enough oxygen. There is an emergency access hatch between the upper and lower sections of the ship. If released by an emergency switch, it will fall to the deck and allow oxygen to reach the area where Mark and the others are. However, the hatch will crush the crew member below, since he was knocked unconscious and is lying beneath it. Mark and the rest of the crew are almost out of air though, and they will all die if Mark does not do this. Should Mark release the hatch, crush the crew member below to save himself and the other crew members.
Here's what you do.
You can't change it, George. This is a dilemma.
You take all of your shirts, you tie it into a rope. You tie the
That's
rope around
not
the thing,
how moral
so it
dilemmas
doesn't
work.
drop into the guy.
No, it's literally,
This is what
you
you
can
do.
kill that one guy with the hatch, and you all survive, or you let him die and hang on, have I got that wrong? Kill
The thing
that
is,
one
would you
guy
know he was
and they
there?
all survive, or that guy can survive and you all die. Well, he knows it's there because it says in the dilemma.
Well, yeah, but how does he know?
Don't try and pretend you don't know about it, George. You have to pick between you and all the other crew members, or the one guy on the deck. This is not you smothering someone with a
He's
pillow this time,
unconscious.
George. This is
He's
you.
unconscious, right? He's probably dead. We'll just kill him. It'll be fine. No one will ever know.
You've just lost all your dignity for being a nice guy now, George. That you just gathered from the other moral dilemma, and it's mainly because you're being put in the situation of death. Really, if you think about it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't when you're in that situation.
If someone's
you don't
employing
care what
George to be part of a submarine crew, they've got to screw loose, man.
They've got issues.
But
although if they were hiring you, they'd have even more issues.
yeah, because I can't even swim, so that would be bad.
You'd be stuck in there like, I can't escape. I'm stuck. Drop the lid on me and kill me.
I'll be the guy underneath.
That's what I'm gathering from this situation. You just kill him off.
So the moral dilemma would be: do I let them carry me up there and help me survive, or do I just say leave me here so you all can survive? That'll be my moral dilemma. So this one's called The Baby or the Townspeople. So I've not read this. This is probably horrible. Enemy soldiers have taken over Jane's village. They have orders to kill all remaining civilians over the age of 2. Jane and some of the townspeople have sought refuge in 2 rooms of the cellar of a large house. Outside, Jane hears the voice of soldiers who have come to search the house for valuables. Jane's baby begins to cry loudly in the other room. His crying will summon the attention of the soldiers, who will spare Jane's baby's life but will kill Jane and the others hiding in both rooms. If Jane turns on the noisy furnace to block the sound, the other room will become uncomfortably hot for adults and children, but deadly for infants. To save her and the others, Jane must activate the furnace, which will kill the baby. That's a hard one.
That's not hard.
You
kill the baby.
George, that is horrible, man. You're gonna kill the baby. This is your baby. You're Jane in this situation.
So? And? You can always pop out another baby.
You're a monster, George. I'll ask you that in 5 years when you got your own kid. Pop out another.
Don't quote me on that, guys.
Right.
I'm never having kids.
The
so
overloaded.
Don't worry about that. It's fine.
I thought you said you wanted some kids.
Nah. Taft did. I never did.
Change your mind.
No, I never wanted any.
Yeah, but you will, George. You're going to be the guy with 10 kids. I see it happening.
Accidentally. No. I practice
sperm bank
in the bedroom. And what I mean by that is, I don't have sex.
Yeah, like twice a year.
Easy.
The overloaded lifeboat. Doug is on a cruise ship where there is a fire on board, and the ship has to be abandoned. The lifeboats are carrying many more people than they were designed to carry. The lifeboat he is sitting in, dangerously low in the water. A few inches lower and it will sink. The seas start to get rough and the boat begins to fill with water. God, these aren't half long. A group of old people are in the water and ask Doug to throw them a rope so they can come aboard the lifeboat. It seems to Doug that the boat will sink if he takes on any more passengers. Should Doug refuse to throw the rope in order to save himself and the other lifeboat passengers? So you're refusing.
Kill the old people.
You're refusing.
Yes.
This is a nice guy, George. This is a nice old guy and a nice old woman. They invite you around for cake and tea and coffee. They live next door.
Well,
they've got 17 grandchildren.
That's their fault. That's not my fault. They should have got on the boat quicker.
George.
Survival of the fittest, baby.
These are George's answers, so But it makes sense, really.
It's true, though, isn't it?
You kind of have to think logically in some situations.
And for the future of like, they've got what? Another year to live.
What if that was your grandparents, though, George?
They're dead anyway.
Yeah, but I'd say there wasn't. Say those are the people in the water.
Well, then honestly, they would prepare to die. They wouldn't, if they knew the situation, they wouldn't ask to be saved.
Mm.
That's honestly how my grandparents were.
No, it makes sense. Man, these are like so out there that it makes me laugh. But like these could genuinely happen. They probably have happened to people.
Oh yeah, they have. They definitely.
I would not like to be in these situations. You know. What about this one? This looks good. I'm not going to read the concentration camp one. We'll leave that one.
Like the thing is, you just have to be smart about your surroundings, and you won't be in these situations anyway.
Mm.
You wouldn't hide in a building with a furnace, a child, and about 20 people. You'd go somewhere else. You wouldn't hide with the crowd because that's how the crowd dies.
I'm not going to read the.
They'd throw the baby out anyway if they were really desperate.
I was going to say I'm not going to read the chat. I am going to read the chat.
It's happened in wars.
Let's see where we're at with the chat. The reason I'm not reading, guys, is because we're doing Marvel Dilemmas. Feel free to have a go at these yourself and let us know what you would do, just so it's not just George looking bad. Yeah. You know, so George just you know, isn't just looking like an asshole like he's in that picture. No, I'm kidding.
I'm happy to look like an asshole.
No, to be honest, I would do the same thing because as you say, you got to think logically, haven't you? At the end of the day, you got like say you got 15 people on the boat, it's sinking. You take on more people, it's gonna sink. You have to prioritize the other people.
Well, even then, you'd be in a situation where, if that was the case...
This is top quality content. We got Shed, Boris Johnson on a zipline, Zelda, and George with a turk on his head with 2 pairs of glasses and a cat. Someone finally said it. Someone has recognised my efforts.
It's not a cat.
And I bet we still don't have 10 likes. George is a cat, mate. That looks like a cat. Hey, Shadow of the Wolf. Right, let's get on to another one. We're doing the unfaithful wife. You're an emergency worker, George, that has been called to the scene of an accident. When you arrive, you see that the car belongs to your wife. Fearing the worst, you rush over, only to see she is trapped in her car with another man. He's obviously her lover, with whom she has been having an affair. That's not good, is it, George? You reel back in shock.
I wouldn't be in this situation anyway.
George, you are in this situation. You can't just tell me in the video. You won't be in any of these situations. You won't be on a submarine. Oh my god.
That situation is the one that's closest to happen. But even then it won't happen because I'd be happy with a polyamorous relationship. Like that.
George, just you are in this situation. That's the game. You can't say I'm not in the situation.
Okay, I'm in the situation.
You're an emergency worker. You've been called to the scene of an accident. When you arrive, the car belongs to your wife. Fearing the worst, you rush over, only to find she's trapped in the car with another man. It's her lover. She's been having an affair. You reel back in shock, devastated by what you've just found out. As you step back, the wreck in front of you comes into focus. You see your wife is seriously hurt and she needs your attention straight away. If she gets immediate attention, there's a very high chance... Even if she gets immediate attention, there's a very high chance she'll die. You look at the seat next to her and see her lover. He's bleeding heavily from a wound to the neck, and you need to stem the flow of blood immediately. If you attend to your wife, her lover will bleed to death, and you may not be able to save her anyway. If you work on the lover, you can save his life, but your wife will definitely die. Who should you choose to work on?
In that situation, you as a qualified EMT, obviously, like I am in this situation, you'd
I love it. I love it. This is stressing you out that much. You're holding the cat. Let me just show people that on the screen.
No matter the situation you're in, as an EMT, I think you're trying to look for the people that you can save first.
Yeah, but this man, he's been having an affair with your wife, mate.
So,
that's probably why they bloody crashed the car, mate. That's probably why they crashed the car. You know what I mean?
Hang on, what was there? There was.
Imagine what they've been doing at the wheel.
But so.
TJ saying that's a shame. Shouldn't cheat on me then. You two have your last moments together, then die. Goodbye. Oh, it's hard, man. Because
the thing is, you don't know what's brought.
You say you can't mix it like you can't mix it. You say you can't mix it with personal life, like you work personal life, but you would though. In that situation, you would, George.
I don't think he would. Not as a qualified EMT, which I'm assuming I am as the first.
Yeah, but for one thing,
You don't.
when you
I
see
don't
an
think you do.
accident, I've heard people talk about it. Like you go into shock and you don't really think straight. So in that situation, you wouldn't be thinking as a qualified EMT. You're used to these events, but this is different because this is a personal one.
I guess.
There was, I was talking to this guy at a train station, right? And he said he knew someone who used to clean up the bodies when people got run over by trains.
Train stations, yeah, they're horrible.
And one day he goes and picks up a wallet. It's his friend's.
Annie.
What?
Well, doesn't I remember Annie used to talk about it. She like there was a scalp stuck to the bottom of a train that they had to clean, where it had been hit and it like the scalp would come off.
Well, what I'm saying is
Her
this.
dad or something was.
What? Her dad was what?
Her dad is like. I
Been one of those guys.
I'm remembering this right. I could be wrong, but she's the one that cleans the trains.
Well, this guy he picked up someone's like bottom half, their jeans. He had his friend's wallet in the pocket. So then he threw up. He had to have like, he had to go to a therapist. He couldn't do his job basically. He had to have like 6 months off because it was his friend.
Like, that completely makes sense.
But normally he would see them as normally he would see them as like animal parts or like a piece of pig. But because it was his friend, he reacted differently. So I think in this situation, you wouldn't be like, "Oh, I'm a qualified person. I have to do this, this, and this." You'd be like, "These guys have been in the car crash, but that's my wife. What's she doing in that car?" That would be your first thing. Hey, Dostry. Guys, let's try and get 10 likes. Well, it's obvious. According to this, it's obvious, George.
The dick was in her mouth. If the dick was in her mouth and she'd
I mean, that would have to be a terrible car crash for that to happen.
That's a gruesome.
Hey, Ike.
That's
why you always wear your seatbelts, kids.
Well, even if you're wearing your seatbelt, you still get whiplash.
Alright, well, let's move on to the next one. That's an interesting one. George is saying he's going to save the husband, but his wife's going to die. Your wife's definitely dead, George.
Yeah.
You do that, your wife's dead.
She's dead anyway.
She's dead, mate?
She's dead anyway.
Yeah, but you might have been able to rekindle the relationship. She might even be the mother of your kids, mate.
So?
Okay, George. Okay,
I have
we'll move on.
different emotional responses than you do.
You're so cold-blooded. That's the problem. George doesn't have a heart, man.
True.
If this guy was sleeping with my wife, I don't know, man. I don't know whether I'll be able to save him. I would have to think for a couple of minutes about that one. But how you doing, Ike? Can we get 10 likes? Are we on 10 likes yet, guys? I hope you're enjoying this. This should be some stimulating content, man. I've done this on the fly. This was never meant to be just never meant to be part of the podcast, but I thought I'd throw it in. I think it's been quite interesting, really. This was never meant to happen. And now George looks like an animal. It's all good.
Now I look like an ass, but that's fine. My emotions are different.
Well, not really. I mean, it's so like these. Literally, it's what you would do in the situation. Not saying it's ever gonna happen. You know. None
of these answers are right. None of these answers are the correct thing to do. You should think about the situations you're in before you end up in those situations, really.
I mean, I don't know. Should we do the incriminating email? I'll give you something to choose from. The incriminating email, the pregnant lady and the dynamite, the drowning children.
Let chat decide while I go for a wee real quick.
Okay.
Chat.
We'll do a couple more and then we'll move on to the next segment. Because I don't want to stress Jordan out too much. Let me know which one you want to do, guys. I'm so going to get Rocky TV next week with these moral dilemmas. Did I hear? Oh god. Okay. Okay, TJ. We'll do that one then. The incriminating email seems good, but it's really long. That's why I wanted to choose, because be here all day. I'll just sing another good one. Forget what I did, it don't mean shit now. And we're doing on the old YouTube side of things. So,
I have returned.
TJ's chosen for you, mate.
I don't have my earphones in. Hold on.
Oh, we lost 2 subscribers.
Hello.
George, we lost 2 subs.
They heard me be a dick to children. What's the question they asked?
Yeah, that's probably you, that is. Well, TJ's picked for you, and he said the drowning children he wants you to do.
Okay.
This is so I'm going to get banned on YouTube.
Kill them all.
Oh my god.
If the question is, there's a dog or a human, always choose the dog.
What about if you're the human?
I would try to save the dog.
I was just saying, we have to get. What do you mean you've done it a bunch of times?
I've literally jumped into rivers to save dogs before.
Oh, well, that's fair. I mean, I would do that, but I can't swim, so wouldn't be very. And then I would need saving, and then the dog wouldn't get saved. I was saying we need to get Rocky TV with these next week, because I think it's interesting. See what I would say.
He's got a very different sense of being.
Rocky's gonna. Rocky would risk his life, whereas you. I don't know actually. It depends on the dilemma.
Yeah, it's the dilemma. It's always.
I want to get in with that one with a cheating wife because you know Rocky's single as well. Or well, we don't actually know. Sometimes single. On and off, I guess. So we're doing the drowning children. I didn't want to do this. This was picked by TJ.
Yes, sir.
I'm hoping we don't get banned after this podcast. You and your family are going away for the weekend.
This was chosen by me names TJ the Terrible 07 for future reference.
Yes.
We know who to blame.
He wants to know what you would do, George.
Noted down.
Oh. You and your family are going away for the weekend. You're having a break. A little time away, George. Your daughter is 7. You got a 7-year-old daughter. Yeah. And is best friends with your niece, who is also 7.
I know about this.
It's news to George. Your families are very close, and your daughter asks. Your daughter asks if your niece can come with you on your holiday. You've been on holidays together before and don't see any problem.
Straight away, I would say no then. This is a getaway for me and my family. Fuck the niece. Okay, carry on. This is the difference between
But
me
this is your favourite niece, George. You don't have any nieces, do you?
I don't care.
I keep forgetting that George lives in his attic on his own, like doesn't speak to anyone.
I don't have emotional connections to anyone.
You've been on holidays together before, George, and you didn't see a problem. You agreed with it, you know. You thought, let her come. We got space in the car. We got space for one more. Let her come along. You arrive at your holiday destination and the house you're staying at.
Is she paying her way?
George, she's like 7 years old, mate.
Then she's not coming. Carry on.
Stop changing the story, bro. You're at your holiday destination and the house you're staying at backs onto the beach. The girl asks if they can go for a swim. You tell them that they have to wait until you unpack the car, but they can play on the sand directly in front of the beach. They run down to the sand and you begin to unpack the car. After about 5 minutes, you hear screaming coming from the direction of the beach, and it sounds like the girls. You run down to see what the matter is, and you discover that they hadn't listened to you and had gone for a swim. There is no one else on the beach, and the girls are caught in a riptide. The girls are really struggling, particularly your niece, who isn't as strong swimmer as your daughter is. You swim out quickly, but when you get there, you realise that there is no way you'll be able to get both girls back to the shore on your own. You need to decide which of the girls you will rescue first. You have enough strength and energy to rescue them both, but you can only do it one at a time. You look at the 2 girls, and your niece is really struggling to hold her head above the water. And you know if you take your daughter back first, there will be little or no chance that she will survive. Your daughter is struggling also, but is much stronger in the water, and you estimate that if you take your niece back first, there's probably a 50% chance that your daughter will be able to stay afloat long enough for you to return. But you simply don't know how long she will hold on for.
Why am I so weak that I
Who-
can't swim with 2 children under my
Who
arm?
should you?
7.
Who should you? Who should you say first? George. I give up. George, to be fair, you
Tell me
are.
I'm wrong though.
You-
Tell me I'm wrong. They're light as fuck.
You are
I'm a
very
decent
weak.
swimmer. I've literally, like, I'm not kidding. We had to do at school. We did a lifeguard course because we had a swimming pool at the end of the year, and you had to learn to swim with someone under your arm, and that's piss easy, really. So what's 2 people and just swim your legs? Like, so.
I understand what you're saying, George, but you can't change it. It's happened.
The difference, no, I know, but the difference between me is.
I love how you're making these logical suggestions with a cat on your head.
Would you trust a child to listen to you at the age of 7? No, of course not. That's what they do. They don't listen. That is the prerogative of kids. I didn't listen to my parents. I would never have let my child and her niece
look what happened.
Go on the beach on their own. I wouldn't let them go on their own.
Didn't listen to his parents, and look what happened. George, regardless, it's happened. They're both out there.
I'd save the niece first. Niece first.
Your daughter might die though. 50% chance.
Yes, but there's a 100% chance the other girl will die. If you're saving a life, you go for the one that is definitely going to die. If there's a 50% chance she'll live, try and get her to swim in the right direction. You point it out that you've got to go this way, and you're like, I will come back for you, so just stay afloat.
BJ saying you have to rescue the one who's further away from the shore and worse at swimming. Though it would give me pain to see my daughter struggling while saving my niece. It's a tough one, that.
Exactly.
But that's the point. It's the point of a dilemma, isn't it?
One day is definitely going to die.
True.
If your daughter has a 50% chance of living.
Well, saying that, I would be the I would be the niece who can't swim, so I should be saying I would save the niece, really, shouldn't I?
Well, then, there's no chance of me saving you. You're too big for me to carry.
Whoa, what was this? I can carry 2 7-year-olds, no problem, mate.
You're not a 7-year-old.
I can bench press 280.
Two children.
I've done my training at the gym. To be honest, George, the thing is, when you're in water, correct me if I'm wrong, you wouldn't be carrying me.
They're lighter.
You know, I'll just be floating. You'd be pulling the person.
Well, the thing is, like, as a human, your buoyancy is about the same as water anyway. So you can literally, if you're in water, you can do a press up on your one finger. As long as you don't go out of the water, you can carry yourself on like minimal strength.
Yeah.
The thing that will tire you out is the swimming and keeping your head above water while making sure that they can still have their head above water. Otherwise, they'll be inhaling the water and getting liquid in their lungs, which isn't good.
Okay. We're going to do one more, and then we're going to call it quits on the moral dilemmas. I think we're going to get Rocky TV on this next week, see what it says. See what Rocky TV goes. I do like this, because it's interesting. It's an interesting one. Maybe George can ask me some in the future.
Yeah, sure.
It almost allows you to learn more about a person.
I wouldn't ask you about swimming because you'd be fucking useless.
That's true. I'll be the one. Well, all 3 of us would die in that situation. If that was me.
Yeah. Was that an option? Just let them all drown?
Okay. We're gonna do the Bali drugs charge. The Bali drugs charge. You are on holiday in Bali with your wife. Remember, this is a different scenario to the cheating wife. This is probably a nice wife. She's probably not done anything wrong. Well, we'll soon find out. So you're in Bali with your wife, an 18-year-old son. You got an 18-year-old son, George. You've been there for a week.
Wait, a 7-year-old girl and an 18-year-old. Where have these come from? I'm not even that old. I'm only 24.
It must be your clones.
Must be.
You've been there for a week and you're ready to head home. All 3 of you are at the airport getting ready to board the plane when an armed officer comes around with a sniffer dog. You have all your bags on a trolley, and the dog
God
sniffs.
damn it! It's you know why? It's the packet of sausages I've got in the bag.
And that's what he tells the guy, but he doesn't believe him. So the dog carries on sniffing above you and your wife's back and passes over them. However, when he gets to your son's bag, he begins to get a bit more active. You look over at your son, and he's looking a bit nervous. He might have done something dodgy. You know he smoked a little marijuana in his time. I've not said that right, but you know, well, generally, he's a good kid, and you certainly don't think
Marijuana.
you don't think he'd actually be stupid enough to bring it back on the plane with him. At first, you feel angry that he would do such a thing and start planning your responsibility lecture, but then you realise that you're in Bali, and they have a zero tolerance policy on drugs, meaning your son could be called to jail for life, or worse, executed if he does have some illicit materials in his bag. You look at your wife and you realise she has come to the same conclusion and has gone pale with fear. The armed officer accompanying the dog is beginning to look more stern with every sniff the dog takes, and looks directly at you and asks you to open the bag. You do, and as the officer begins to take things out of the bag, you see to your horror that there is a small quantity of said drug in the bag. The officer looks at you and asks, whose bag is this? You realise you have to answer, but the answer won't be easy. You see your wife in the corner of your eye, and she's about to step forward and claim it as her own. What should you do? What are you gonna do, mate? Are you gonna take responsibility and risk getting executed?
The thing is, I don't think they ask you whose bag this is first. I think they take you to the side, and
You're trying to change. You're trying to change the game again, George.
like, did you pack this up? Is there any chance? Is there any chance someone's tampered with your bag? Which is basically a get out of jail free card. But in this situation,
It has to
how
be.
long have I been married?
It doesn't specify that, but we're gonna say
Fuck's sake.
we're gonna say 20 years before he was born. You wanted to do it the right way. You got married before your kid came into the world. 20 years. 20 years of
Like
marriage.
a true Christian.
A true Christian family.
Christian.
A true Christian family.
Who do drugs together.
No, this is the kid, George. You know, these are responsible parents, mate.
Yeah, but you take responsibility.
So basically, you're
for
saying,
your kid's fault. It ain't
if
my
you-
bag.
If you take responsibility, you're gonna go to jail. You could get executed, or your son or wife. Your wife's thinking about stepping in. She could go to jail or get executed.
If she wasn't gonna step in, I wouldn't step in. If she's gonna step in, and I've clearly been married to her for a long time, I very much love her, and definitely haven't cheated on her multiple times with many different wives around the world, including Bali.
This is
Take it
so tough, man.
No, you just take it. Take it. If it stops your wife,
I don't know.
And your
I don't know whether I'd think that because you might get executed though, George. But then it's which one do you pick?
but you won't. You won't. You won't get executed. You're an English citizen. You're a British citizen. We have very strict.
Let's
laws
not
for-
forget, George. So you let your wife die earlier in a car.
Yes, because there was a chance to save someone.
Hmm.
So, knowing the extradition laws, as obviously I would, as a wise old man who's been married for 20 years, take the rap. This is my bag, officer. These are my drugs. What the fuck are you gonna do about it?
Well, I don't think you'd say that. I think you'd say it's my bag, but you wouldn't admit that they were yours. You'd probably say, like, as
This
you
is
say,
my bag, sir.
you probably got,
I don't know whose drugs these are.
someone's tampered with my bag, mate. Someone's put that in there. I got no idea who it was.
Oh no! Oh no! I know what's happened. I shared a room with a Colombian. His name was Pablo. Shit, Pablo.
You do look like
Escobar.
you do look like you've got half a tan on the one side of your face, George. Oh no, that's the camera.
Fucking Escobar, man. He's done me again.
Okay, let's go with something a bit lighter to break it up. This is the last segment I have, and then we can just talk rubbish for the rest of the podcast. I know George is getting a bit, stressed. This is it's strenuous talking about these moral dilemmas.
It's strenuous when apparently I've got a wife, a child, 2 children, in fact, and a niece,
And
who I've never met before and have no knowledge of.
Well, you do now, mate.
And
You
they
do
always seem to
now.
be getting into these stupid situations. Also, I was in a war apparently that I didn't know about. When has this happened?
You was in a war. I don't think...
I had to put a furnace on to kill a child. What's happened here? I don't remember any of this.
It's been travelling through time.
It's all my variants.
You know what this? You know what this sounds like? It sounds like Quantum Leap.
It does, doesn't it? Or it sounds like Looper a little bit.
I love Quantum Leap. Quantum Leap, man. It's so good to watch, but you wouldn't want to be, you know, Scott Bakula.
In the situation, no.
Because he always gets in the most annoying situations because he has to right a wrong, doesn't he? Or fix something every time. Would you rather have toes as teeth or teeth as toes?
Toes as teeth. Because if you had teeth as toes,
That would hurt.
in your mouth. And
What do you mean you got it the wrong way?
But fucking.
You got it the wrong way, George.
with-
You just you just said toes as teeth, didn't you? That's what you said.
I meant my toes be teeth is what I actually meant to say.
I think that's what I prefer because
I guess.
you're confusing me.
You could hide that in your shoe for all your life.
Yeah, but I'd probably rather
Just
have.
wear socks. No one would ever know.
I might rather have toes as teeth.
Whenever you open your mouth, people will see that you have toes as teeth.
Yeah, but you know what, George? I'm
You'd be
thinking,
laughed at. You'd be a sideshow freak.
mate. I went to a job interview 2 weeks ago, and I walked all around Birmingham, and it was killing my feet. I'm just thinking, if I had teeth on them bad boys and not toenails, that would be a problem.
Well, then you'd get specialized.
George, your shoes are already falling apart, mate. Imagine you got teeth in there.
My shoes are in one piece.
Well, the latest ones are, but that's, you know, especially if you're shopping in Primark, mate. They're not gonna last. They're not gonna last long if you got teeth in them.
They're made in Portugal. But no, these are good. These are good. I got these from.
Plus,
Portugal.
you know,
We
you'd be
don't
fine
use
anyway.
clothes direct around here, though, folks.
You know what? If you went on TikTok and you had toes as teeth, you know how quick you get 1 million followers. You'd be set for life, mate. You'd be the toe teeth guy.
Would you, or would you be laughed at? Would you be cyberbullied and eventually pushed to suicide?
You'd
because
be
you're being bullied
you'd be
so
rich.
often?
You'd be rich, George.
But would you? People don't laugh at like.
You're going too deep into it. I think it's after coming from the moral dilemma thing, you're going too deep into it.